Hello, here we go. Let's dive right in. Why just eating a little bit of animals or their secretions doesn't work? Okay, it's an injustice. We are denying a living being the right of life because in the end, we want to eat them. We are ignoring any feelings or desires they may have, no matter how they differ from ours, if they are less than ours or not. We're denying that absolutely and foremost because we're enjoying the taste, or we believe there's some sort of benefit from it, which has medically and scientifically been shown to be incorrect. There are no benefits to animal products because of the sheer fact the negative impacts they have. So, you can take all the protein you want and whatever nutrients you believe are in fish, but you're still going to have that cholesterol and you're still going to have that mercury. You can take whatever you want from the cow's milk. You can say you're drinking it for calcium, but really dairy milk causes our blood to become acidic, and as a last resort, our bones leach calcium from them actually and neutralize the blood, and as a result, then that calcium that has been pulled from our bones, we urinate it out. So we lose calcium from trying to get calcium from cow's milk. So yes, it contains calcium, but it's, the milk, the mammary secretion from another species, from a cow, was designed for a 400-pound bovine mammal, not a average human being, in the 5'7" range, not even over 200 pounds. Okay. And I wasn't using that example as a healthy BMI or anything, just throwing it out there. We're not as big as cows. We don't need their growth fluid, their baby growth fluid. We don't need that. We have mammary secretion from our own breast that is custom fit for our species. But we think it's weird to nurse our children after age 2 even? You better get that baby on some dairy milk because mammary secretion from a different species is much more natural than drinking our own. Sarcasm. Cuckoo. But I thought that too. I thought cow's milk tasted good and yada, yada, yada. So it just doesn't work. It's an injustification. It's unjust. It's unjustifiable. We're using artificial not intelligence. We're not using any intelligence. We're using artificial insemination to impregnate these animals. Not just dairy goats, not just dairy cows, but all female animals so we can eat the babies. Yes, we mass breed through artificial insemination. We take the semen from the pigs. We train the pigs. I don't, but some humans do train them. They mount up on a mounting post and they achieve ejaculation while someone stands by. Oftentimes the thighs and whatnot have to be massaged on the pigs because they're actually quite emotionally complex. They actually tend to want to pick who they breed with, mate with, so they have to be coaxed into it. Male cows are, as soon as they're 12 months old, are put into a metal rack and stimulated in the prostate and through the anus, and their semen is collected via handling their penis. So we take this semen then and we impregnate the dairy cows, we impregnate the dairy goats, we impregnate the pigs, we impregnate the sheep to eat these animals then. And then we eat their parents when they can no longer give semen or bear children or produce milk. So it's bestiality and it's disgusting and it's heinous and it's abuse. It is absolute abuse. We are keeping these animals in these conditions not because they need to be so that they're safe. We're not taking them somewhere that will benefit them. This is not taking an animal to a vet and, they don't want to get in their kennel. They don't want to go to the vet because they know they don't like it, or they don't want to get groomed even though they have a bunch of, mats in their hair. We're not forcing animals into something out of their benefit. We're not shepherding them and looking over them to their benefit. No, we're forcing them which way and every way we want them to go because we want to eat them. We want to slaughter them, to chop them up, to then sell them. We need them to be in the drive-thrus. We need cows stacked on top of pigs with the cow mammary secretion in between buns for people to eat. This is why we're impregnating animals, taking semen, putting it in the female animals, taking the babies, eating the babies, slaughtering them. This is why, because we want those organic turkeys and all that organic meat that's so humane. This is why. This is why. This is the, the demand. We are the demand. I'm not anymore, and you don't have to be either. But as long as we are craving flesh and secretions, then this injustice will go on. And these animals will be held against their will to feed us. Poison. It poisons us. It gives us disease. It's all animal products. There's no safe amount of animal products to eat. This medical and science data will become bigger and bigger, and people will become more aware. And before you know it, it'll just be the norm that all animal products, they're not products, but eating animals is completely unhealthy. And there will come a time, if we make it, where it will be looked down upon. It'll be disgusting. It'll be looked at like slavery, like cannibalism, bestiality, like it is. It's neglect of animals, We are neglecting their needs, their wants, their desires, their emotional needs, their physical needs, and we're keeping them in filth in their own urine where they would never want to be. We feed into the fact that they're disgusting, they're filthy animals anyways. Well, we let them become filthy, and we let them live in disgusting conditions, again, so we could simply eat them. This is the justification that we have, is we want to eat them. We're keeping them there, not for their own good, not for their benefit, not out of love because they need to be somewhere to get help, to get better, but so that we can slaughter them to eat them. We take them out of beautiful places even. Yes, sure, there's small farms where they get to be out. I've seen it up Sweetwater where they're out in some of those beautiful places you can think of. But then, whether they're killed there or at the slaughterhouse, they're killed. Just a second. What is it, Warren? What do you need? I'll be right back. I'm almost finished. Well, that's not been happening. I'll be right back. Just a second. Okay, thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to try and hustle my bustle here. We're just about done. 7 minutes in. Let's hurry. Okay, so, and it's just, it's lies and deception. They label it what they want us to see. It's for human eyes to read. They want us to make us feel good about it. If they showed both sides, if they showed, they don't even have to show the violent stuff. They don't even have to show the excessive abuse. They can just show the standard process of stimulating the prostate with an electrical impulsed dildo in the anus of a male cow, where there's a veterinarian doing that, and they can show the farmer handling the penis and talking about the precum and showing the semen. And when they hear the farmers say, when the semen comes out, oh, that's what we want right there. See, that's what we like. When they hear that, they'll be like, that is gross. Is this really? That really, puts things into perspective. For me, at least. Even if we kept the animals, and let's say they didn't artificially inseminate them, even if we kept them and then we had to monitor when they wanted to breed and then bring the male in, the act of bringing the animals together on our own, not them naturally finding each other how they did in nature and choosing their mate, that grosses me out, because it's also for the sheer fact of, so we can eat what comes from them, their babies. It's deception. It is total deception. It's this idea that animals don't have feelings. Their feelings aren't as important as ours because they feel differently. They don't have a perspective of what life could be. No, they don't have a perspective of how human life could be for the most part. But when we see like pigs and parrots and or chickens being coming into homes and being pets, they actually perceive quite a bit. And it's pretty interesting how they enjoy, human life with us like our cats and dogs do, so, but they have their own life, you see, that they can enjoy. And it's not our business to try and analyze it, to figure out if it's worth, them living. It's not our job to do that. It's our job to respect them and love them and keep them safe, We're being deceived. We're being deceived that there is some sort of necessity out of eating the flesh. The only necessity is in the pocketbook of those big companies, okay? Majority of us anyways, we're not even, we're just feeding into, I just hear people say like, well, it's like happy animals. But majority of us, we're eating at steakhouses. We're eating at drive-thrus. We're getting it from huge delis at Walmart. We're getting it from, big meat shops. Like, this isn't some small mom and pop's operation, ladies and gentlemen. We have 9 billion people on the planet, and majority of them are eating meat, That's the reality. And we just have to wake up to that and stop pretending that us having, one cheeseburger a week at, the drive-through, we're doing our part to reduce. No, we're just continuing to do that. 9 billion people having one cheeseburger a week, that's too much anyways. And nobody's even doing that. So, it's all deception. It's deception. We really have to think about what's going on here. Before I close up here, we're at 10 minutes, closing thought. If another species came to our planet, more intelligent, more powerful than us, able to manipulate the environment to where they wanted it to have us, like we do to animals, we would be crying. We would reach out for our babies as they were torn from our arms. We would call out to our husband. We would see our nieces and nephews, our cousins. We would console those who we didn't even know. We would pull in other children orphaned, and comfort each other. We would be crying. People would be screaming, vomiting. People would be, have soiled themselves in fear, and all that would be to them was exactly what we see in the farrowing crates. The farrowing crates are where they keep the mother pigs so they can only lay in one direction, lay on one side or the other with their babies. Where we keep all the animals in captivity, the chickens in the coops, the turkeys, the ducks, the goats, the sheep, all of them. The fish in the big fish quarries in the oceans, where they're kept. It's just... this alien higher species would only see noise and smell odors like we do and not understand it, probably not even see our tears, maybe not because they weren't intelligent, but they just were so disconnected from us that they didn't. Like, I never saw the tears of animals when they were on the slaughter trucks or in the conditions that they were in, or in the slaughterhouse, until I looked closer. It would look the same to them. They wouldn't hear our cries. It would be nothing. They wouldn't know who knew who. Just like we don't know what pig is thinking what, or who knows who, or who's communicating to who from across the shed. We have no idea of this. And since we just hear it and see it as a bunch of stinky mumbo jumbo, we just grind it up and then eat it. What if that happened to us? Not much different than the Holocaust. This is a Holocaust of animals. And that is what happened to the victims of the Holocaust. They were looked at as less. They were unheard. They were viewed as putrid. So in closing here, we are partaking in these actions. We are buying the exact dollar amount it costs to keep the process going. Every purchase we make, you see. So if we're buying dairy from a goat, from a cow in yogurt or cheese form, if we're buying flesh of any animal, eggs, we are paying for animals to be killed. Egg industry, baby chicks are ground up on the first day of life. And you know what? When chickens lay their eggs, if nobody takes them naturally, they peck and eat the entire egg to replenish all of the energy and nutrients and what it took from her body to create that egg. The egg doesn't just appear. It is created by the body, which exerts energy and gives. So when there's no baby and the egg doesn't hatch, the chickens then eat it back. So we interrupt their natural cycle right there. There's the board right there. Boom, they hit that. They can't even conduct their natural cycle. So saying we don't even impregnate the eggs, they just lay them and we take them, that's not benefiting the animal, and it's interrupting the natural cycle. So there's no place for us to go in and eat something that comes out of the chicken's butt that is equivalent to her period, just because we can scramble it and season it. Well, guess what? We can scramble all sorts of other things. Tofu, egg substitutes, the list goes on. All right, here we are, the last statement. The path we choose in order to take a life cannot justify the life taken. And that is in direct correlation with animal agriculture. We can't justify it. We can't justify the way that we slaughter them, or where we slaughter them, or how we breed them, because in the end, we're only doing it to eat their flesh for taste pleasure. We're only doing it to make money because people are buying the products. There's no justification for it. And on top of it all, It is devastating to our environment. We literally are eating ourselves to death by killing our environment, by killing animals, clearing rainforest, taking down just woodlands here in the States to house, keep animals, pasture animals, factory farming, the amount of urine and fecal matter from these 8 billion animals every year. Let's think on that. Where is all this going? Where is all this going? You know, it's being sprayed out onto our food, onto the crops nearby, onto the people who live next to these farms. And that's where you see E. coli coming out, you know, fecal matter on vegetation, you know, like Gary Orosky said, plants don't shit. So when we see shit caused diseases on plant agriculture, we're seeing cross contamination. So yes, soak it in, think on it. Remember, this is all from a place of love, and I get upset because I'm thinking of the atrocity and the lies and the damage that is being done right now, not just by people who are consuming it like I was, but by the government, by the big corporations, and by the farmers themselves. And I want to, at the end, give a shout out to the many farmers and ranchers actually who have turned to sanctuaries, or who have gone into plant agriculture, who have let sanctuaries and activists take animals from their farm. I want to thank you for that, because it does mean something. And so I guess I'll end by saying, let's all align our actions with our beliefs. And let's educate ourselves and make the world a better place. All right, go vegan. Much love.